Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer. Today we're here for the very first of the Civilization 6 Wonder Spotlights, where much like with the Leader Spotlight series, I'm going to be taking an in-depth look at each of the wonders in Civ 6, talking about some of their attributes, some of their various use cases, and just kind of how they apply to each victory type and how you can use them to augment your victory in a given game of Civ 6. So today we're starting off with one of the very first wonders in the game, Stonehenge. So Stonehenge is unlocked with the astrology technology, which is fairly early on in the tree. You can research that from turn 1. This does make Stonehenge an ancient era wonder, which really that doesn't mean too much, except the only thing that really applies to is the fact that you can use the one policy card that gives plus 15% production towards ancient and classical era wonders. You can use that to rush Stonehenge, but most of the time I find if you're going to rush Stonehenge, you probably won't even have that policy card unlocked yet. Astrology as well is a fairly easy technical boost. All you have to do is find one natural wonder, and although this is easy, it is not very consistent because it is very much based on RNG and just kind of what kind of luck you get in the game as to whether or not you spawn near a natural wonder or if you're able to scout around enough to find any. But even so, you can rush astrology very early, and thus you can rush Stonehenge from pretty much turn 1. Once you have astrology researched, the building requirements for Stonehenge are that it must be placed on a flat land tile, so no hills, and it must be adjacent to stone. And then, much like with pretty much everything else in the game, in order to place it, you do have to have the technology to clear anything that might be on that tile. So if it is flatlands with woods, you do have to at least have mining to be able to chop the woods, or if it has marsh, you have to have... I believe irrigation is required to clear marsh, but either way, you just have to have whatever the technology is to clear what is on the tile as well. But aside from that, the only building requirements are flat land adjacent to stone, so this is fairly easy to satisfy. The big thing there is just the adjacent to stone part, because you're not always going to be spawning near stone. I do find that stone is a very common resource though, so in most cases you will be able to build Stonehenge. Once you construct Stonehenge, the benefits it provides are +2 faith per turn, which is decently nice in the early game, but I do find that if you have at least a few mountains nearby, you could get that on a holy site. But Stonehenge also does grant you a free great profit and can be used to found a religion on. So normally you would have to use a holy site, which is where you would put your great profit to found a religion, but you can also found religions on Stonehenge as well. So these benefits are a bit interesting, I think, because if you don't have any good spots for holy site adjacency in the early game, I think that these are very good benefits because you get that +2 faith per turn, which is going to stack up and help get you towards some early missionaries or some early apostles. But you also do get the instant free great profit, which means that you don't really have to fight for a religion like you normally would have to if you're going to go through the holy site route. But the one thing I do think is that Stonehenge isn't always worth it, because if you're able to get down a holy site that has an adjacency bonus of +2 faith or more, I think in most cases it's worth it just to go for that holy site, because that holy site is going to be a bit more consistent. It will provide more faith later on in the game as you build temples in it or other holy buildings. So Stonehenge's benefits are really not all that great. The only big thing is that it pretty much makes it so that you don't have to fight for a great profit, you just get one instantly, which, if you're a very experienced player, then normally you'll be able to consistently get that great profit anyways. But that is just the one big use case of Stonehenge, is to get that great profit instantly. So overall, as far as Stonehenge's benefits are concerned, I don't necessarily think they're bad, but I think that they are merely situational, because if you have a situation where you are able to get down a very good holy site, then I would probably advise that you do that. So say you have a really good spot for like a +4 holy site or something like that, I would much rather go for the holy site than try to get Stonehenge, because in the long run that would just be more faith per turn. You'd probably still get the great profit anyways, and you wouldn't have to go through the struggle of, trying to beat the AI to Stonehenge. So overall, Stonehenge's benefits, I think they are situationally very good for religious victory, but at the same time, they are sometimes outmatched by good adjacency bonuses. And now it is that time to rate Stonehenge. So much like with the Leader Spotlight series, in which I gave each leader a tier ranking in each of the 4 victory types, in this Wonder series I will be giving each wonder a rating in each of the 4 victory types that just kind of judges their general helpfulness towards attaining that wonder and just how useful or relevant they can be towards getting that particular victory type. So the guidelines for these values are given on the right hand side there. I am giving a difficulty rating as well, which kind of rates the challenge that it is to build the wonder before the AI gets it, or just kind of, how difficult it is to place it, or how fast you have to rush it, anything like that. And that is presuming deity difficulty as well, just because that's kind of what these guides are geared towards. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's give Stonehenge its ratings. So domination, science, and culture, I think also all deserve a 2 for Stonehenge, and the only reason I'm giving a 2 instead of a 1 is just because the ability to use a religion to help augment any of those victory types. So Stonehenge really focuses on just you getting that religion, and getting that religion can be very important for domination, science, or culture, just because you could use that religion to, say, go for the crusade belief to get some early land. You could get a few of these science-based benefits to get some science yield, same thing with culture, and really with a religion you're able to augment all 3 of those victory types. So I think that Stonehenge still can be moderately useful towards that, or not even necessarily moderately, but just slightly helpful towards that. If you don't want to build a holy site, you don't want to take up a district slot, you can use Stonehenge to get to go for a religion and get those benefits nonetheless. So for that reason, I think that Stonehenge deserves a 2 in all 3 of those victory types. As far as religion is concerned, I think that Stonehenge deserves a 3. It is definitely moderately helpful. It's not overwhelmingly helpful just because of its rather lackluster benefits that it provides. So 2 faith per turn is definitely nice, but if you do have good land around, then you can generally get a holy site that performs way better than that. The ability to get the free Great Prophet is very nice because it means that you don't have to go through the challenge of trying to make sure you get more Great Prophet points than the AI. But normally for an experienced player that would be playing on deity, that really isn't too much of a challenge anyways. So Stonehenge can be very nice for doing that. It can help get you a little bit of extra faith per turn if you have no good spots for holy sites. So for that reason, it is definitely at least moderately helpful, and I think it deserves the 3. As far as the difficulty for Stonehenge goes, I definitely think it deserves a 5. It is one of the most difficult wonders in the game to build, just because of how early it is. So whenever you're playing on deity, the AI starts with a lot of free Eurekas, and I believe that astrology is one of the ones they get. So that combined with their ability to get just 80% free production, just because they're playing on deity, makes it so that Stonehenge is a very difficult wonder to build, because they can get to the tech before you can. They can build it way faster than you can, and they really do like going for this wonder. So I do find that in a lot of games, I very rarely even get the chance to like finish astrology or finish my holy site or do pretty much anything before the AI builds Stonehenge. So Stonehenge, probably one of the most difficult wonders in the game to get. So as just kind of an overall synopsis of Stonehenge, Stonehenge can be a useful wonder for making it so that you can get that free Great Prophet out very quickly. If you're playing on deity though, it is going to be it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. On lower difficulties, it can be a little bit helpful, especially if you're not experienced in being able to rush for Great Prophet points, like with a holy site and running holy site prayers. So for that, it can be very helpful. Outside of that, it doesn't really have too many uses unless you want to use that religion to help augment one of your other victory types, and overall its yields are not too great, and a lot of the times you can get a holy site that just provides more faith than Stonehenge does. But overall, it still is a fairly average wonder. It is hurt though extremely by just the general difficulty of building it on higher difficulties. So thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for more Civilization 6 content, feel free to subscribe. If you have any suggestions for what I can do with this series, because after all, this is just the pilot episode of this series, so things can be subject to change. If you have any suggestions though, feel free to place them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.